Good morning, everyone. Executives of the stock market, the SEC, the SET, the associations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the panelists, member of the press. It is my great pleasure to deliver this opening remarks at the Thailand Focus 2019 conference organized by the Stock Exchange of Thailand. I was privileged almost 10 years ago to be a part of this forum when it got started then. At that time, I think we are getting serious about the development of our capital market. A number of new measures, organizations were set up, and as the president of the stock exchange just pointed out, there has been good progress on many fronts. And today I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you the Thai government's immediate and medium-term economic policy agenda and how we plan to move Thailand forward and how it would have how the policy agenda would have implications for the investors, for the capital market overall. Now, personally, again, I have been privileged to have been involved in the government for the past 4 years. I was in the previous government and as Minister of ICT and also as Minister of Industry. Today I serve in the newly elected government as Minister of Finance. Now, I have been in office for about a month and a half, probably, about right. But I have met with many private sector executives, councils in Asia as well as from the US, Europe, and two of the most common questions that I got asked, well, actually three. The first was the new government. It is a coalition government, and it consists of 19 parties. 19, probably the most in Thailand's history. How would we operate? Second, the new government. Under the new government, would there be continuity and commitment to what Thailand has communicated to the international community, and obviously to Thai people, our national development goals and strategy? Third, there is also a third question, which is how are we dealing with the global situation? And obviously my answers to the first two questions is yes, there will be continuity, and yes, definitely there is strong commitment on the part of the government to continue to drive forward our national development goals and strategy. Now, the third I would touch on today. So basically what I like to discuss this morning are the highlights of the information, the actions that we are taking with respect to the three questions that I have been asked during the past month or so. Now let me start by touching on what's going on today. And I hope that through our discussion today and what you would have during the next 2-3 days would help you better understand how new opportunities are being created in various sectors across the economic and social spectrums in Thailand as we drive forward the development. Now, before getting to such opportunities, I thought it would be of interest to present to you the current economic situation and outlook as we see it, and especially how we are dealing with the current headwinds from the global economy. Going back in our recent history, you probably are aware that Thailand had undergone episodes of economic turmoil before the previous government came into office, not the present government, but the previous government. Now, economic growth back then, 2014, was only 1%, actually a bit less than 1%, 2014. Now, since then, the Thai economy has regained strength. So in 2018, the growth was 4.1% per annum. Now, what we are experiencing now is that the global economy, since the second half of last year, has introduced new challenges that have affected many countries, Thailand included. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has recently revised downward the global economic growth projection this year to a 3.2% growth compared to 3.6% growth last year. Now, a number of countries have shown signs of strong impact on their economies and growth. Although Thailand has begun also to feel the impact of the increase in global volatility, the Thai economy, I'd like to point out, has still managed to grow, although with a slowing pace. This year, first quarter GDP growth was 2.8%. While the growth for the second quarter that was just recently announced was 2.3%. So we are slowing down due to softer demand, due to the softer demand in the external sector. Although we are growing, so will pace, we are not complacent, far from that. Because the government realizes that we must prudently tackle the problem and safeguard the domestic economy in the case that the global economy worsens in the second half of this year. We strongly believe that it is imperative for us to maintain confidence in the economy, and to this end, the government is fully prepared to take necessary measures to ensure that the Thai economy will not be overly affected and will be able to maintain positive momentum. Now, we are confident that we are well positioned to do so. This is because Thailand has been able to maintain a strong fiscal position. And as such, we do have policy space for appropriate fiscal and monetary measures for timely implementation if needed. And in doing so, of course, we strictly adhere and maintain fiscal discipline under the new Fiscal Responsibility Act, the very first for Thailand, introduced just over a year, 2 years ago by the previous government. So that's sort of the framework that we all operate under. The Ministry of Finance, all agencies, all other ministries, all investment plans have to adhere to the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Last week, you may have heard the Ministry of Finance, with the cabinet approval, the new cabinet, of course, has proposed a substantial economic stimulus package worth 316 billion baht or about 10 billion US dollars. This was last week. Aiming to inject liquidity into the system in order to maintain momentum while mitigating the impact of the global slowdown. And to achieve this, the stimulus package has been designed to deliver multiplier effects on consumption and investment with immediate results targeting on three fronts. Let me briefly highlight them. First, the agricultural sector, which represents the grassroots base of the Thai economy. Special credit loans are being provided to farmers, and they are really special in my view. Now, I was a banker before. It's 0.1% per annum interest. Difficult to get lower than that. At the same time, borrowers are offered debt restructuring and rescheduling for 2 years. Now, there are good reasons for this. Of course, it's a stimulus package. But second, we want to quickly remedy the impact of the drought that has been ongoing in Thailand for some months now. So there are also emergency loans for drought recovery and reforming at the same time. Second, tourism and SMEs, the small people, the small guys, the small operators. As a key engine of growth, we know that tourism generates significant spending and employment. High-impact stimulus packages are therefore being offered to aggressively promote nationwide tourism and related spending on food, accommodation, shopping of local products, so no brand name stuff. For the numerous community enterprises and the SMEs, a special 10 billion baht investment fund is being set up to help the SMEs and so on, the community shops, enterprises, to access liquidity, which could be problematic at times, as we know. And the specialized financial institutions that we have, the state banks, are introducing a combined 100 billion baht of low interest credits to the SMEs. Furthermore, to encourage companies in general to spend on investment, a 1 year, 1.5 times tax rebate is being offered for investment on machinery and equipment, new and replacement. Third, to alleviate hardship on the cost of living for the low-income group, additional one-time increases in monetary welfare support are being provided. Within the 14.6 million low-income Thais that we have that have registered with the Ministry of Finance, the previous government launched this new welfare program. And the purpose is to start seriously tackle the problem of poverty, inequality in Thailand. And it is important, it's imperative that we look after the welfare in an appropriate way with clear strategies how to do that, and also effective execution on delivery of the welfare. So this time, we are providing additional welfare support to these 14.6 million low-income earners. And also we are targeting particular groups within the 14.6, namely the people, the elderly, and also parents with children of 6 years old or under. So this is on the welfare front, so that people are assured that they have necessary means to spend on the basic living items. Now, in conjunction with the stimulus package that has just been approved and in the process of being launched, we are also actively accelerating government spending. This would, I think, go a long way towards supporting and complementing the stimulus package that we now have. So what we do is that for the state enterprises, they have tremendous amounts of investment in the pipeline. I think about 300 billion baht for this year alone. 300 billion baht, that's correct. This year alone, combined. So we have the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Transport, which has probably, in terms of value, the highest combined gross value in terms of investment programs. We have gotten together and we have communicated, consulted with the state enterprises, all of them, at least all the major ones, and asked them to accelerate the investment programs that have been committed in the pipeline, sort of to front load it a little bit. But of course, within their plans and strategies. Ministry of Finance is also speeding up the disbursements for the programs, projects that are already ongoing. So that this together, I think, is another part of the measures that we are rolling out in light of the global situation. This is what is happening today, and I have been communicating to various people, various groups, that it is very important, and the government recognizes this, and we are acting in a prudent manner. The stimulus package is based on firm principles, 4 elements. First, targets. We have clear targets where we want to deliver, where we want results, and that the stimulus package is timely, and that's why it has been rolled out relatively early for the new government. Remember that we have been in office for only a little bit over a month, and this large package is already out. And third, transparent. I mentioned the low-income group, 14.6. We are using the new, relatively new, newly developed digital infrastructure, the national e-payment structure, to deliver the support, the money. So no cash. It's delivered through the e-platform that we have. And fourth, temporary. I stress that the stimulus package is temporary. It's designed to have the effect from now till the end of the month, the end of the year. So we are firm on this, and we have worked with various agencies and the private sector so that the stimulus package would provide the results that we would like. Now, looking forward, we have, you may know, a national strategy, a national development plan that has been presented to the National Assembly recently. It is based on the plan that's been developed earlier in previous government, but also with inputs, valuable inputs from the coalition parties, 19 of them. And, I should mention, I said that people ask me how we work together, 19 of us. And so far so good. So far so good. In terms of politics, what do you expect? There are, you may know, about 3 major parties, and then smaller ones, medium size, and so on. But the point is really, I was in previous government, different, this government, and I think things are going okay, really, because I think one thing is that everybody recognizes that there is tremendous expectation on the government at this time. The first election in 5 years, and politicians coming in on the government side, huge expectation. And the opposition as well, they need to perform. So that is kind of a force, so to speak, that make people adhere together in the sense that we all look towards a better future for Thailand, and that we feel responsibility to act. So with that, I'd like to provide you with highlights on what we are working on in the medium term and the longer term. Okay. Today, we are handling the global situation, and that is necessary, because if we let things slide, so to speak, then when the global economy turns, we may not be in the position to catch up and move with our agenda. And that is why we have rolled out the package early, and we have been communicating government's intention to look after the situation, closely monitoring it, working with the private sector and the partners, domestic as well as international, so that when things turn, we're in a good position to proceed with our strategies. Basically, central to Thailand's development agenda is to achieve the transformation of Thailand into a highly competitive and innovative economy. Now, this means comprehensively upgrading Thailand's capacity to create high value-added products and services, naturally, while effectively solving structural issues, inequality, unequal opportunities, concentrated growth, and accumulation of wealth. And as such, the ultimate goal of the transformation is for Thailand to be firmly in the position to generate sustainable growth going forward. Now, there are a lot of details in the plans. I will not be able to go into them. However, further information on the transformation and related agenda is contained in various documents already provided by the government officially, and so on. The stock exchange has it. So I will skip the details and just to highlight a few key points on the transformation, especially what they will bring in terms of the new chapter of opportunities for you and for Thailand in partnership. Now, transformation is ongoing. It's nothing new. It's been ongoing for the past 4 or 5 years. And I think we have achieved good progress as reflected by the improvement in rankings, just to name a few. In terms of the rankings of Thailand's competitiveness by the World Economic Forum, WEF, currently is at 38, so higher than the ranking of 40 in the previous year. IMD Institute of Management Development ranked Thailand's competitiveness at 25, also higher than 30, ranking of 30 previous year. The World Bank ranked Thailand ease of doing business 2019 in the top 3 of ASEAN. Singapore and Malaysia are ahead of us, but let's see for how long. Well, hopefully we won't go backward either. I have to say. And of course, on the credit agencies' ratings, Moody's and Fitch have upgraded us for their outlook from stable to positive. And I have spoken with them, and the reasons they cited are twofold. First, they believe that, as I mentioned earlier, we have the strength to deal with the current situation, the global economy. And second, they are convinced that we can execute our development strategies, which call for investment for the future in various aspects, which I would briefly touch on. So there has been improvement, which is an encouragement for all of us in Thailand. Transformation, as you know, reforms, very challenging. You do it broad-based, and you need to do it broad-based, or else it's meaningless. Got to start somewhere, though. So this is really, to me, the heart of Thailand's future is here. We need to change and transform. A few things that I'd like to mention. First, investment for the future, mainly infrastructures. We have started major investment programs to massively upgrade both physical and other infrastructures. Physical, I think within 5 to 10 years' time, the landscape of transportation in Thailand will be totally changed with the rail systems that are being built in Bangkok as well as throughout Thailand. And the key point here is the connectivity that the entire system will bring, not just in Thailand, but also between Thailand and our neighbors, which would then extend throughout ASEAN and to other, facilitating the connectivity of Thailand with other parts of the world. Now, I have been, as I mentioned, participating in this forum before, and I think last year also. I think so, right? Okay. Many of you, or some of you at least, may have heard what I'm saying today. Well, put up with me. But I think one thing that it shows is that there is continuity. What I mentioned last year has made progress this year, and it moved forward. Investment in upgrading infrastructures have moved forward. For example, the key projects in the EEC, Eastern Economic Corridor, are about to happen. The seaports, the high-speed rails, the new airport, they are moving according to schedules. There are some hiccups, very natural. Thailand has never managed such huge projects simultaneously. We have never done that. This is the first time we do that. Simultaneously. We have done it, of course, one by one, two at a time. Now it's multiple projects of significant sizes that are connected, that have been designed with connectivity. And I think, credits for those who are involved, both the public and the private sector partners. And we truly appreciate that. The government cannot go at it alone on these things. Physical infrastructure, digital infrastructure, very critical to our transformation. The goal is to move Thailand towards a digitally enabled economy. That means digital infrastructure. The Ministry of Finance, for example, sponsors the development of a national e-payment system. It's in operation right now, and I have asked the teams at the ministry to accelerate the development to the second phase, where the system, the infrastructure can reach into the rural areas, thus supporting the economic activities at the grassroots level, at the same time facilitating doing businesses for the business sector from the SMEs up in terms of saving transaction costs and so on. So very important digital infrastructure. There are other infrastructures, of course, equally important. Education, huge. We are increasingly delivering education online, e-learning, lifelong learning. They all depend on high performance digital infrastructure, and we are investing heavily in these as well. Second, investments in technology to transform our economy so that it's innovation driven, capable of creating high value adds, and therefore making us dynamic and competitive, shifting the development model from the model that we have been using for the past 30 years. It's time to change, and it calls for investments and therefore opportunities. So various industries, we have identified priority industries, and they are moving forward in terms of their transformation. Just to name a few, healthcare to me is a logical choice for Thailand. Caring for the aging society, we are getting into that, and we can also serve other countries using Thailand as a base for caring of an aging society. Digital industry itself, I think, is very logical for Thailand. Thai people, as you may know, we can get very creative. So that could be another thing that we can do. Robotics, high value adds, agriculture, of course, because we are an agriculture-based, traditionally, in terms of our economy. Tourism, high value tourism, and so on, just to name a few. So there are special, I would call it strategies, such as the EEC. The EEC has been designed from the get-go so that it could be a sort of, at the same time, a sandbox and a catalyst for new developments, for transformation. And I think it is doing that. It has attracted investment, local, as well as from the international community. And this government is committed to support the EEC initiative going forward. Third, investment in human capital, probably the most important in my view. We are working on different fronts related to the development of manpower so that we have highly capable human capital base that could be beneficial, that would be essential for the transformation, addressing directly, effectively the needs of the new industries, focusing on innovation, creativity, and the deployment of appropriate technology. I'll give you an example. Today, we have a new ministry. I would not even attempt to pronounce its name. It's a long one in Thai, English, I do not know. This ministry emerged from the merger of a large chunk of our Ministry of Education, totally with the Ministry of Science and Technology combined. And its sole purpose is to sponsor, to be responsible for higher education and research and development related to the transformation. Now, you may be familiar with this model, have it in many places in Europe and also in Asia. We have studied them and now we have put them in action. So yesterday, the cabinet has approved a budget of about 7.5 billion baht, first shot, for this particular ministry to launch its